Make sure our inches are set to millimeters. Then we're going to start sketching, and we're going to sketch on that flat plane, the XY. And the first thing we're going to do is begin a base extrusion, which is 80 by 80. And then we can make it symmetrical if we wanted to. Project these axes, and then we go to our symmetrical constraint. We'll add a symmetrical constraint. Now it's centered, and we'll extrude that 20. That creates this base face, and then we'll go ahead and cut out this little part. It's 25 over and it's 10 tall, so we're going to sketch on this face, and we're just going to draw a line. We're going to draw a rectangle, and we're just going to place it, and then we're going to just add some dimensions to make it right. So we go here, that's 10, then we go from the edge to here, that's 25. And we're going to go to the edge from here. That's 25. And that places our sketch just like we see here in the drawing. And it's equal because you have 35, or we have the same cut through here. So you have 30 plus 25, so that should be 30 right here. And it'll over constrain if you add this. Yep. So we'll finish that sketch. We're going to extrude that. And we want to make it cut, and we're going to change that to go all the way through. Say OK. Now the next thing we'll do is we'll sketch the same thing over here on this side. If you don't like that look, you can change that, and we're going to do the same thing. Dimension it to 10. Nice. Dimension from the left to the right, 25. And dimension from the right to the left, or left to right, 25. Finish sketch, extrude, cut, change it to all. Now we've got our base view. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add that cylinder on the top. And we're going to place that by sketching over here on the top. In the center of this, we're going to make a circle, which is the radius is 15, so the diameter is 30. So we're just going to go 30. And we're going to dimension from the edge to the center point. And that's going to be 30. We're going to dimension from this edge to this center point. That's going to be 25, because we see this number here. Now we've placed the sketch, we'll finish it, and it's 30 tall. So we'll go extrude. And now we have there. Now let's go ahead and place our rectangle over here. So we're going to sketch on this face. I'm going to draw a rectangle. Notice I just draw a random rectangle and then I dimension it in to make it look right. So this is 15 from the front face. It is 20 wide. And it is 40 on its depth. Finish that sketch, and we'll extrude it, and it is 40 tall. Now we're going to do our last part. We're going to sketch this little bit of a triangle right here. So we click on that face, go to New Sketch, and what we know about this triangle is it's 40 tall and it's 10 from either base. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to actually make some construction guides. So I'm first going to create project geometry, which shows my little shape here. And then I'm just going to draw a triangle. Right, I'm just going to guess. And actually what we'll do is we'll draw a rectangle that is the width of this triangle here. And we can do it a couple ways. I'll try first way. Let's just draw a triangle and then see if we can dimension it in to be what we want it to be. And we'll close it off. Alright, so we'll dimension this point to this edge is 10. Alright, this point, this edge to this point is 10. And then finally, this point to this edge is 40. And when you do that, you basically just dimension to the points and it pulls in the edges to show the rest. So we'll finish that. We'll extrude. Now we want to go the other direction. We could extrude at 15, or we could just come over here and change our extents to say 2, and we'll go to that face there. And then finally what you're left with is your composite block. So you want to save that accordingly, and then we'll do the next one as well. And now we'll do the next one. So we're going to go to new again, make a new part. We're going to create this boat, right? This shaft bracket. Pretty much looks like a boat. Alright, so this one's going to be tricky. And what I'm going to do with this one is I'm first going to create this back base shape with this cutout and all this, and then I'm going to start working my way around. Or the other thing we could do is we could just sketch this face and extrude it all the way through. And let's try that. We'll try that way first. So I'm going to sketch. I'm going to sketch on this view, the YZ. Make sure my units are always good. Always make sure we're looking at millimeters for this sake. Say OK. And now I'm going to loosely sketch this shape right here. Well, it's a rectangle that's 25 plus, there's 70, 95, 105, 115. So it's 115 wide by 40 tall. Right, I'm looking at there and then that. So it's 115 by 40. So the first thing I'll do is just sketch a loose rectangle, because I'm just going to box it in. So we said 115 by 45. So we're going to take this, make that 115, dimension here, 45. And that represents the overall shape, right? So let's take this. I'm going to show you guys. We're going to highlight these, and we're going to turn them to construction lines, which is just like what you do when you create projection lines on your drawings. This will be a guide for us to sketch within. So now we're going to draw a line, and we're going to start over here on this corner and work our way around. So I'm going to start here. I go up, right? Then I go over 25. Then I come down 10, it shows me over there. Then I come over 70. Then I come back up. And then I go back over. Now when you're looking at this length right here, we need to take our 10 and subtract that from the 25. So that's 15 right there. And then you just bring a diagonal line anywhere, it doesn't matter, anywhere right here. And then we'll dimension that point to here, and that should be 10, like I have already. Okay, now the next thing you do is we're going to draw a straight line from the bottom that is 95 long to the start of that arc. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to go out 95, and basically now what's left is from there to there I need to make an arc. There's two ways I can do that. One is we've got the radius. The radius is 30, which means the diameter is 60. So we're just going to make a circle over here with a diameter of 60. And then we're going to apply some constraints to get this tangent to the edge here. So we're going to go try flexing this in with constraints. I'm going to go tangent that line to there. Then I'm also going to go tangent from here to here. And you'll notice I got it close, but it's not exactly what I want. So maybe, let's see if I can take and move the object by clicking it and then clicking the base point to be the end point here, and then I can move it to the end point there. Right, and you'll notice it's kind of wacky, and we can make that a constraint, but let's try to see if we can tighten that back up. No? Okay, so maybe that doesn't work for you. There is a way we can do that, but I'll show you another way. Let's go to arc from here to here. Then what we'll do is we'll just place a 3-point arc. We'll just put it out here somewhere. And that's incorrect, but then we come back and dimension it, and it will make it correct. So that should be radius. It shows up radius right now. If it were diameter, it would show the whole circle is 30. And then let's tighten up our constraints. So once we've got that, we'll finish our sketch, and I'm going to extrude that, and it is 40, 50, 60 wide. I'm going to go symmetrical extrusion, so that way I can draw on the back here and it's still centered amongst my origin planes. I'm going to sketch on that face. I'm just going to stretch my screen back so I can orient the view like you guys are seeing it. So now I'm going to sketch on this face this cutout first. It goes 90 deep. So first I'm going to draw this rectangle that is 40 by 10. That places it in the middle, and then we'll put a collinear constraint on that bad boy. Make this dimension 10. Now I've got that. I'm going to extrude, cut, and that should be 90 deep. Right, and that's based on what we see right here. So we've cut that. Now we're going to sketch on that face again and create this arc. So we'll project geometry, project that bad boy. Now this time we're going to do an arc that is center point, because the center point here, when that highlights green, that's the midpoint. And then we're just going to make it, radius is 25. So then what I can do is I can come back here, type in 25, enter. And I'm going to complete that arc. And you always want to make sure you close your sketches so you can extrude with them. So that's why I'm drawing this line up here. Finish that sketch. It will cut out what looks like a consistent, let's try and get it as close as we can. It goes cut, and if we move the 3D grip back, it's somewhere in that realm, right? It looks like it's 18. Or it could even be 20. Alright, now we've completed the basic part. We're going to create this little top part now. And the first thing I'm going to do is just make this little block, this rounded rectangular block, and then I'll sketch the cylinder on top. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sketch on the top of this object. We're going to project geometry so that we have all that geometry showing. And then we'll even come in and we'll draw some center lines. So if when this highlights green, I draw a vertical line. I'll hit L for line, draw another horizontal line, and I'll pick both of these, and this is a good trick. You turn on your center lines right here, and that makes these look like your drawing does. So now we're going to create a rectangle, and we'll come back and we'll make the curved edges later. So rectangle, So it's 5 from either side, and it's 50 wide. And the way I saw it is you're 5 there and you're 50 there. So I'm going to dimension from here to here. And I'm going to dimension from here to here. And then I will dimension, if it's 50 wide and we've got 70 there, it's split equally because of our center line. So there's 10 on either side. Or I can just come here, make this 50, right? And notice it's asymmetrical. I can put on my symmetric constraint, click. Oops, gotta click the right line. Make sure this gets out of the way. Deleting that. And if it acts up, you can always pull in a line if you need, and then add your symmetric constraint from here to there. And then we'll dimension it again. Alright, so we've placed our block. We'll finish that sketch, and we're going to extrude that up 25. Say OK. Now we're going to cut our holes inside of both sides of it first. Create a rectangle. I'll project geometry. I'll make a center line. Create a rectangle, dimension that rectangle from here to here is 10, or it should be 20. Right, so if these diameters showing that are 20, then that means this will be equal, and then I want to dimension this from here to here to be 15. Say finish sketch, and that's going to cut all the way through, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. I'll sketch here. Now notice I can't see everything, so you can either come to view and go slice graphics, and that allows me to see this surface I'm sketching on right there, or you could turn it to wireframe. So I can come to view, turn off slice graphics, or come to view again, turn on wireframe with hidden edges, and now I see the bottom face down here. So what I'll do is I'll do that same thing. I'll create a sketch. This one's 10 by 10. I'll dimension here. 20 wide. Draw my center line. Make that a center line. And I'll do my symmetrical constraint from here to here, about that guy. And then I'll dimension the height to be 15. And finish sketch. And we're going to extrude cut that. Now we don't want to go through all on this one. Oh, look how my sketch is broken there. You can either find that magic highlight or come back into your sketch by clicking on an existing line and delete all that extra stuff we used from project geometry. That should help it. And let's turn back on shaded with hidden edges. Make sure I got everything square, and we'll extrude cut. And we're only going to go through the distance. Well, that block was 50 wide. We can change it to go that direction. Alright, almost there. Next thing we're going to do is add the fillets on the side. These curved features are called fillets. Those fillets have a radius of 10. So if I click a corner and I click my fillet button here, I can change that radius to 10. Right? And then before I click again, click all these other edges and say OK. Now I've made my fillets. I'm going to go sketch on the top of this surface here, and I'm going to make this donut that has a cut through it. So we project geometry again. It's a great button to use. You'll see it in Chapter 5. And we'll make our center lines. Highlight both of them. turn them to a center line type. Make a circle. The first circle is radius 20, so that's 40. The second circle is, let's see what it says, radius 10. Now, these are going to be two different sketches, and here's why. One has a 10-inch high extrusion. The other one is cut out 20 inches deep. So the first thing we're going to do is do our one extrusion at a time. So I've made my 40. I'll extrude it. Right, it's 10 high. Say OK. Now I've got the basic circle, and then I'm going to sketch on top of the circle I just made, the cylinder. And I'm going to create another, project geometry. I'm going to create another circle that is radius 10 or diameter 20, and that is cut out 20 deep. So I click extrude, click this, cut 20, and say OK. And you have your complete shaft bracket. So you'll take this and lay it out on a sheet, save it where you need to save it, and then you'll place these on a drawing for finalized review. And those are your most advanced part models. The others should be pretty straightforward. Good luck.